Most doctors will never tell you this, but there is one soup that has been quietly transforming the gut health and cancer risk of people over 60. And it's been sitting in traditional kitchens for centuries while modern medicine looked the other way. Welcome to my YouTube channel, BioBites. Before we go any further, I want to ask you something. How old are you right now? Drop your age in the comments below. I read every single comment on this channel, and I genuinely love hearing from each and every one of you. And if you are new here, I want to personally invite subscribe to BioBites. We are on a mission to reach 50,000 subscribers so that this life-changing health information can reach more seniors, more families, and more people around the world who deserve to know the truth about aging and healing. Every single subscriber helps us grow, and every click of that button sends this knowledge to someone who might desperately need it. So please, if this channel has ever helped you or someone you love, hit subscribe right now and help us reach that 50,000 goal together. Now, a landmark study published by the Harvard T.H. Chan School of Public Health found that dietary interventions targeting gut microbiome diversity can reduce colorectal cancer risk by up to 41% in adults over the age of 60. 41%. That is not a small number. And the most powerful driver of that gut transformation? A specific category of soup that combines prebiotic fiber, anti-inflammatory compounds, and collagen-boosting nutrients in one warm, healing bowl. All scientific references and studies mentioned in this video are linked in the description below so you can read them yourself. Here is what makes this even more remarkable. The most powerful version of this soup contains one ingredient that most people throw straight into the trash. Stay with me because by the end of this video, that one thing might completely change how you cook and how you age. But before we dive in, I want to ask you something personal. Has your digestion changed as you've gotten older? Do you notice more bloating, more sluggishness, more discomfort after meals than you did in your 40s? Write your experience in the comments below. You are not alone, and I read every word you share with me. Today, I am going to walk you through the 5 most powerful components of this gut-repairing, cancer-fighting soup, ranked from least to most powerful, so that by the end, you will know exactly how to make this at home and why every single ingredient matters for your body after 60. Let us start with number 5. Number 5 is slow-cooked carrots. Now, I know what you are thinking. Carrots? Really? But listen carefully, because what happens to a carrot when it is slow-cooked in broth for 45 minutes or more is nothing short of extraordinary for an aging digestive system. Researchers at Wageningen University in the Netherlands found that heat-softened carrots release significantly higher concentrations of beta-carotene and falcarinol, a natural compound shown to reduce the risk of colon cancer by up to 34% in animal models compared to raw carrots. For people over 60, this matters enormously because raw vegetables are often harder to break down. After 60, stomach acid production can decline by up to 40%, meaning your gut simply does not have the firepower it once did to extract nutrients from hard fibrous foods. Slow cooking breaks down the cellular walls of carrots and essentially pre-digests them for you, delivering anti-inflammatory carotenoids directly into a gut that desperately needs healing. The ideal preparation is to chop your carrots into thick, generous chunks and allow them to cook low and slow for a minimum of 45 minutes. The synergy tip here is crucial. Always add a small drizzle of extra virgin olive oil to your soup, because beta-carotene is a fat-soluble nutrient, meaning it is only fully absorbed when paired with a healthy fat. Without the fat, you are leaving most of that cancer-fighting power behind. The common mistake I see seniors make is adding carrots in the last 10 minutes of cooking because they worry about losing nutrients. In this case, longer cooking actually unlocks more of what you need. Trust the slow process. Number 4 is garlic, but not just any garlic and not added just anyway. I want to introduce you to Margaret. a 68-year-old retired school teacher from Savannah, Georgia. Margaret came to me after years of chronic bloating, irregular bowel movements, and what she described as a constant low-grade heaviness in her abdomen. She had been through 3 rounds of antibiotics in 2 years for recurring infections, and her gut was, in her own words, completely destroyed. I asked her to make one change, to add properly prepared garlic to a warm, broth-based soup every single day for 30 days. At the end of that month, Margaret told me she felt like she had a new stomach. Her inflammation markers had dropped, her digestion had regulated, and for the first time in years, she woke up without abdominal pain. Here is why garlic is so powerful. When garlic is crushed or chopped and then left to rest for 10 minutes, before being added to heat, it activates a compound called allicin, one of the most potent natural antimicrobial and anti-cancer substances known to science. A study from the National Cancer Institute found that people who consumed garlic regularly had a 23% lower risk of stomach cancer and a 31% lower risk of colorectal cancer. For aging gut specifically, garlic acts as a prebiotic, feeding the beneficial bacteria that rebuild the microbiome after decades of stress, medications, and processed foods have slowly dismantled it. The preparation rule is non-negotiable. Crush, chop, wait 10 minutes, then add it to your soup base. Never skip that waiting period. The synergy tip is to pair garlic with turmeric, which we will talk about shortly because the 2 compounds together create a compounding anti-inflammatory effect that neither achieves alone. The mistake most seniors make is adding whole garlic cloves or garlic powder from a jar. Powdered garlic has lost the enzymatic activity required to produce allicin. Use fresh every time. Right here, if you are still watching and finding this valuable, please take 5 seconds right now and hit that subscribe button below. We are working hard every single week to bring you medically grounded, life-changing health content specifically for people over 60, and we are so close to our 50,000 subscriber goal. Every person who subscribes helps us reach one more senior, one more family, one more person who might transform their health because of a video like this one. Please help us get there. And while I have you, I am so curious. What country and city are you watching from right now? Drop it in the comments below. We have viewers from all over the world, and I love seeing where this community reaches. It genuinely fills my heart every time I read those comments. Number 3 is bone broth, the ancient healer that modern science is finally beginning to understand. Bone broth is the base of this entire soup, and without it, the other ingredients are only working at a fraction of their potential. When animal bones are simmered for 12 to 24 hours, they release collagen, glycine, proline, and gelatin, a matrix of compounds that literally coat and seal the lining of the intestinal wall. After 60, the gut lining naturally becomes more permeable, a condition researchers now call intestinal hyperpermeability, or what many people know as leaky gut. When the gut lining breaks down, undigested food particles and toxins pass into the bloodstream, triggering systemic inflammation that is now linked to colorectal cancer, autoimmune conditions, joint pain, and cognitive decline. A study from the University of Nebraska found that compounds released from slow-simmered bone broth significantly reduced gut wall inflammation and improved mucosal integrity in aging subjects. The preparation tip is simple but critical. You must use bones with marrow, and you must add a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar to the cold water before heating. The acid pulls the minerals from the bone into the broth, dramatically increasing the calcium, magnesium, and phosphorus content. The synergy tip is to add the garlic and carrots we already discussed directly into the bone broth base so that all 5 ingredients cook together, sharing their medicinal compounds in one unified healing liquid. The mistake seniors make is using store-bought broth from a carton. These products are often flash processed and contain almost none of the collagen or glycine your gut needs. Make it yourself or find a reputable small batch source. Number 2 is miso, a fermented soybean paste that contains living probiotic cultures capable of repopulating an aging gut in ways that probiotic supplements simply cannot match. I want to tell you about James, a 72-year-old man from Portland, Oregon, whose wife actually reached out to me after watching one of our videos. James had been on proton pump inhibitors for 11 years for chronic acid reflux, and his gut microbiome had been completely destabilized. He was fatigued, anxious, and had lost nearly 18 lb of muscle mass in 2 years. His wife began adding a tablespoon of unpasteurized white miso to his soup every evening. Within 6 weeks, his energy had returned, his reflux had reduced by more than half, and his gastroenterologist was genuinely puzzled by the improvement in his blood work. Research published in the Journal of Nutritional Science found that regular miso consumption was associated with a 33% reduction in gastric cancer risk among adults over 65. The fermentation process produces beneficial lactobacillus strains that colonize the gut wall, crowd out pathogenic bacteria, and produce short-chain fatty acids that actively nourish the cells lining the colon. The very cells that, when damaged and inflamed, become the starting point for colorectal cancer. The preparation rule here is sacred. Never boil your miso. Add it after the soup has been removed from heat and cooled slightly, because temperatures above 140 degree F kill the living cultures. The synergy tip is to pair miso with a bone broth base, because the gelatin in the broth acts as a prebiotic medium, helping the probiotic bacteria in the miso survive and thrive in your gut environment. The mistake seniors make is using pasteurized miso from a standard grocery shelf. Look for unpasteurized, traditionally fermented miso from an Asian grocer or health food store. The label should say live cultures or unpasteurized. And now, number 1, the ingredient I promised you earlier, the one that most people throw away without a second thought: leek tops. The dark green tops of leeks that almost every cook cuts off and discards. These are, without question, the single most powerful prebiotic food for the aging gut that most seniors have never intentionally eaten. Let me tell you about Dorothy, a 79-year-old woman from Edinburgh, Scotland, who had been dealing with chronic constipation, unpredictable digestion, and what her gastroenterologist had labeled as age-related bowel dysfunction for over a decade. Dorothy began making this complete 5-ingredient soup 3 times per week, always including the full leek from white base to dark green top. Within 3 months, not only had her bowel function normalized for the first time in years, her 6-month colonoscopy follow-up showed a measurable reduction in the precancerous polyp activity that her doctor had been monitoring. Here is the science. Leek tops are extraordinarily rich in a prebiotic fiber called inulin and fructooligosaccharides, compounds that are essentially food for the beneficial bacteria in your colon. A study from the Flanders Institute of Biotechnology found that inulin supplementation in adults over 65 increased populations of bifidobacteria in the gut by up to 45% in just 4 weeks. Bifidobacteria are among the most important bacterial strains for cancer prevention, immune regulation, and mental health in older adults. For a gut that has been compromised by age, antibiotics, stress, and decades of suboptimal diet, leek tops are like a rescue package delivered directly to the microbiome. The preparation tip is to use the entire leek. Slice the dark green tops finely and add them with the carrots in the slow cooking phase, so the fiber softens and the inulin is released fully into the broth. The synergy tip is the most important one in this entire video. When you combine leek tops with miso and bone broth in the same soup, You create what researchers call a symbiotic environment. Prebiotics feeding probiotics in the same bowl, simultaneously rebuilding the gut architecture from the inside out. No supplement stack on the market can replicate what this combination does naturally. The warning here is to start slowly if your gut is very sensitive. Inulin is powerful, and introducing too much too fast can cause temporary bloating in the first week. Begin with 2 TBSP of finely sliced leek tops and build up over 7 to 10 days. Now, let me bring this all together because I want you to really feel what this information means for your life. After 60, the body changes in ways that no one fully prepares you for. Your gut lining thins, your microbial diversity shrinks, your collagen production slows. Your immune system becomes more reactive and less precise. And quietly, almost invisibly, the conditions for serious illness begin to take root. Not because you failed, but because no one gave you the right tools. That is what this channel exists to do. The soup I have described today, bone broth with slow-cooked carrots, fresh crushed garlic, dark green leek tops, and a spoonful of living miso stirred in at the very end, is not a miracle cure. It is something more reliable than a miracle. It is biology. It is what your body has always been designed to receive, and it is never too late to give it what it needs. Your independence matters. Your ability to wake up without pain, to walk through your home without holding the walls, to sit at dinner with your family and feel fully present and fully alive. That is worth fighting for. Whether you are 62 or 84, your gut is capable of healing. Your body is not finished with you, and the choices you make in your kitchen this week can change the trajectory of the next 10 years of your life. Thank you so very much for spending this time with me today. It truly means the world to know that you are here, that you are taking your health seriously, and that you are part of this community. If this video helped you, please subscribe to BioBites right now and help us reach our goal of 50,000 subscribers. Every subscriber is a life we might reach. Every share is a family we might help. Do not keep this to yourself. Send this video to someone you love. And before you go, I have one final question for you. Do you personally struggle with gut issues, bloating, or digestive discomfort? Or is there someone in your family, a parent, a spouse, a sibling, who is dealing with this right now? Write their name or just say my mom or my husband in the comments below. Let us hold them in this community together. Share this video with them today. It might be exactly what they needed to find.